Welcome to Newsmakers. I'm Jeannie Hodes. Today we're going to talk about a new report out looking at ways the state of Kansas can save money as it faces a large budget shortfall in the coming year. We are at the historic Truman Presidential Library in Independence, Missouri with Kansas State Representative Barbara Bollier. Nice to have you here.
Great to be here. Thanks, Jeannie.
So let's talk about this independent report by a consulting firm the state hired have come back with a lot of different suggestions. What are your first impressions of what they had to say?
Well, I was pleasantly surprised. I did not vote to have this report done because I felt like $2.7 million was a great deal of money to spend when we had other initiatives put together by the post-audit committee that we could follow and save money. But now that I've seen the report, I'm excited because I think there are some great areas of recommendations. I also think it has very much validated many things that people from what I would consider my side of the aisle, the more moderate perspective, it validates what we've been saying about how we need to run government.
What would be an example of that?
An example would be to look for more federal funding. We have just been turning it back from the state, and that is not a reasonable position. Kansas really needs that. It has initiatives, for instance, to combine more insurance pools, et cetera, but what it's done, it's also validated many of the statistics we have, for instance, on education, that we are pretty much in the mainstream with how much we're spending and how we're getting our money, et cetera, et cetera. So that would be some of the examples.
Yeah, it seemed like insurance was one of their big things that they wanted to talk about. Can you explain a little bit in layman's terms how that would work?
And I have not read the whole report, it's huge, but I'm already in the process with my highlighter. One of the suggestions is to do more insurance, essentially pooling, and try to get people combined into greater groups so that it would be less expensive. An example would be teachers to then be put under the state program for insurance. Now that raises issues because many of our school districts are self-insured, and I'm not sure how that could work, but there are ideas that are there.
Yeah, some of the ideas do seem a little thornier, but are there any that you feel like could really be implemented pretty quickly that were good ones?
I'm excited to hear, first of all, asking the governor to look for federal grant money. I have a bill to put forward that is to have a long-acting reversible contraceptives initiative established for women who are too poor, they're above Medicaid levels in their poverty, so they need help, but they don't have other insurance help. And so the report suggested that we find initiatives to implement that support healthy women and child outcomes. And this would be a great example of one. This would help reduce teen pregnancy, which in turn helps us reduce the incidence of low birth weight and poor outcome babies because then there's prenatal care, et cetera, et cetera. So I've already got a bill in the hopper to just move right ahead with that.
Sounds great. Now this report is kind of claiming $2 billion in savings potentially here. How realistic do you think that is?
Well, that's if you implement everything. So in $2 billion, that would be over 5 years. And that always is a big if. So my experience in the legislature is that it's hard to get things passed, especially that are questionable in nature about are they going to be effective or not. So we'll see, but I'm hopeful for some savings. I'm always eager to find ways that we can do things more effectively and efficiently.
Well, I'm sure it's helpful to have some kind of a roadmap to go along with.
Well, we can start, definitely.
Thanks so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Newsmakers.